As I Ebbed with the Ocean of Life by Walt Whitman, Section 1. As I ebbed with the ocean of life, as I wended the shores I know, as I walked where the ripples continually wash you, Pomanak. All right, so the narrator um, is ebbing with the ocean of life. This is not necessarily a triumphant moment in his life, but it will be. And the ocean of life, I would say that there's a kind of he's probably talking to himself at this point while alone on the shore. Um, went to wend is to walk, and he he has some kind of hope of where he's walking to, while the ripples continually wash Upamanok, where they rustle up, hoarse and sibilant, where the fierce old mother endlessly cries for her castaways. So to rustle up, hoarse and sibilant, there's kind of a descent of his attention down to the waves as they come up to his feet with a kind of sound. And also, he calls the sea his fierce old mother. And not only that, is one his mother that endlessly cries for her castaways. Now, fierce, I would think would be kind of close to in a devilish sense, um, uh, if you want to think about that in a new way. But it's an affirmative kind of crying out for people who have been lost in the sea forever. I, musing late in the autumn day, gazing off southward, held by this electric self out of the pride of which I utter poems. So he addresses the autumn day, and it's not the nighttime while he's walking around, being at ease with himself. And he gazes off southward, held by, he calls it an electric self. And this can be because he's kind of in a state of peacefulness, I would say, of his soul, out of the pride of which I utter poems. So these poems rise out of this pride and continue on in their power. He was seized by the spirit that trails the lines underfoot, the rim, the sediment that stands for all the water and all the land of the globe. So he was interested in this kind of fight of the little water trails by his feet, and they're come in different numbers. He calls them the rim, and also where there's the sediment, which are little shells, I believe. That's the sediment that stands for all the water and all the land of the globe. So pretty much he is bringing out the meanings of the water and the land, and this time where he's at in the globe. the earth. Fascinated, my eyes, reverting from the south, dropped to follow those slender windrows. He I think he thinks that things are kind of withering away, that he's fascinated by these things, and they have a transparency to his vision, so he can see into them. The chaff, the straw, the splinters of wood, the weeds, and the sea gluten. All of these things are by his feet. The scum, the scales from shining rocks, leaves of salt lettuce left by the tide. So as the tide ebbs away, he gets to see these things around him. Miles walking, the sound of breaking waves the other side of me. So these waves are kind of like talking with him or to him, I would say. They have kind of a fallen kind of nature, I would say, because they are coming from this fierce old mother, and they're on the other side of him, so he's like in between different areas of land and water. Not drinking in more so the land but the water. Pamanok there and then, as I thought, the old thought of likeness says. So here he's seeing all the beauty around and all of kind of freshness. These ye presented to me, you fish-shaped island. So I kind of question what he means by presented to him. If there is a kind of irony in calling this island a fish-shaped, since he's walking along the shore and he's looking more at the water of the sea. And I think he's getting some hope as as I wended the shores I know, as I walked with that electric self, seeking types.